welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central. I am Gil Ingles, and with me today in the studio, I have one of the individuals that is rising up definitely to be one of the new blood of conscious diaspora rappers, conscious diaspora musicians. I mean, this lady's definitely fire. She's not only the more better music, she's just more everything. Chardelle Moore, welcome to Diaspora Central.
What's up, King? How are you?
I'm doing great.
Always a pleasure. Always a vibe.
Listen, I always appreciate the fact that you come through, because there's definitely one thing that you have is cool energy, very, very, very good energy, and we appreciate your presence at all times. So how have you been?
Thank you. We had such a good interview last time. It was definitely so deep and powerful, King.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of profiling, and hopefully we covered a lot, because we definitely have plenty more to cover. Because as we peeling this onion, we're figuring it out that all the layers that do exist have a lot more to offer, and you definitely, surprising, I think, the entire diaspora, and that is good because you're inspiring a lot of us, and you're inspiring a lot of newcomers, which is a good thing also.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great things happening for you.
Big things happening.
Yeah.
My album, King.
Indeed.
My debut album, Inward Awakening, has arrived on all streaming platforms. And I'm telling you, it is a vibe. We got to get into it.
Yeah, definitely. And let's see, even before we get into the album, let's actually figure a few things up. Because we all know Chardelle Moore, the media personality, right?
Yes.
Now let's go a little bit into the artistry. What exactly led Chardelle Moore into the artistry?
Excellent question, King. You know, I've always been a creative, a multidisciplinary artist, and I've been writing poetry since I was a young girl. And the more you start to look within yourself, you begin to birth brilliance in yourself that you didn't even realize. And I wanted to take my love for creativity to the next level. And I decided, why not? Why not create an album? Because I love music, I love poetry, I love inspiration, I love consciousness, and I want to do it my own way. And a lot of times we allow ourselves to be in boxes, because you're right, everybody knows me as a media personality. Right. So you don't really hear a lot of media personalities that end up, producing and writing their own album. But that is the power that lives within me. I am a multi-dimensional person. And to be honest, King, that's the power that lives in everyone. We just need the courage to release it. Right.
And that's one of the great things about you, because you definitely breaking a lot of boundaries. I mean, you have been breaking boundaries since the get-go. I mean, we can go back as far as you being having a Miss title, and which you held also very well.
Thank you.
Any more pageants coming up?
No.
at least not for now, right? Until
at least not for now,
right? No. Because I trust you and me. I'm working on something in which I think that you will also take part on, and I'm not going. Yeah, I'm not saying anything yet, but definitely, it's something.
I'm always open to possibilities.
Right, definitely. You're not into any boxes, and that's what we love about you. We want to kind of keep you that way, so you got to keep on being the pioneer, kind of creating that path for all the other ones coming. Let's get into this album, Inward Awakening. The title.
Yeah, Inward Awakening. I wrote Inward Awakening as a symbolization of my continuous inner revolution. It takes a lot of courage to start developing yourself and really doing self-reflection and saying, what do I really want to accomplish in my life? What is my purpose? And the more inward that I began to look, the more I started to see life differently. So the power of creativity and artistic expression, when you allow yourself to dig deep into the consciousness of the supernatural, you're able to produce works that are so beyond powerful. I call it healing arts. So Inward Awakening is a multi-genre collection really designed to empower people to unleash their infinite power, to shine their light. And it's a deep piece. We have, country on here, we have dancehall, we have spoken word. But that's the power of music and being boundless to the wonderful abundance that this world has to offer. But the first Inward Awakening began with myself. Like literally, Gil, every single song I wrote to empower empower myself first.
Yeah, definitely a very therapeutic album. I'll tell you right now,
Yes.
the first song, which I think at this point, and I say at this point because, you know, depending on our moods, it's like there's one song that we'll kind of hold on to. The first song,
Yeah.
Wild Wild, that one is my favorite. Wild Wild Ride.
Mine too.
I'll tell you right now, look, and I'm gonna make this offer to you right on the air because in all honesty, if you will allow me to direct that video for you, I would love that opportunity because trust you me,
Really?
the first as soon as I heard that song, I almost like had this entire video like laid out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But then again, I mean, I'm a cowboy fanatic, so that's yeah.
energy.
Yeah,
And think about that, you know. And I said, you know what? I want to do a country song, you know, because country is like storytelling music,
Right.
right?
Indeed.
And when you listen to country, it takes you somewhere. And when I wrote Wild Wild Ride,
Right.
it was really to represent the dualities of life, the, you know, oneness with the divinity, that we're all connected. We're all trying to figure this thing called life out.
Right.
And there's moments, we have different moments. One moment it's hot, one moment it's cold.
Indeed.
You know what I mean?
Indeed.
One moment you're young, one moment you're old, you know? So I wanted to create a piece that was timeless. And I definitely believe country music with powerful lyrics can convey that narrative.
Oh, that song definitely does it. Let's go a little bit into the production of it. Who did the music production? And we know you did the writing, so
yes.
let's go over the.
So shout out to my friend Jay Sykes. He's awesome. How I create, it's very interesting because I'm a poet first. So literally, I come up with the poem in my head.
Okay.
And then the beat comes to me, and I start like clicking, like na 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 na, and then I literally send him like those vocals.
Got you.
And I said, bro, do your magic. And that's the great thing about creativity. When you you know, work with other creatives, that's how you really produce powerful art. And I said, you know what? I want a country song.
Yeah.
You know, I want a vibe, a blues type of feeling. And that is actually my favorite song on the album.
Yeah,
really
I'll tell you right now, that one grabbed me right off the top. Before I even continued, I think I listened to that song about 3 times, and then I went on and I listened to the rest of the album, and I was
so
like,
you like the lyrics? What touches you about that song?
I like the song, period. I like that song, period. It's like the vibe in that song. Trust you and me, I that song to me became a visual piece as soon as I played it. It was like, boom, it just turned on every light bulb in me. It's like, I won't discuss it on air, but honestly, eventually you and I are going to get on the phone and I'm going to tell you what my idea for that video is. And you can be as raw with me as, trust you me, I got thick skin, you know, I've been in this game for quite a while. So you can tell me, you know what, Gil, that's too much, too crazy, sucks. Or you can tell me it's good, it's great, and I'm good. Either way, yeah, you can do it or not. You know what, I like the idea, but let me get somebody else to do it. I'm still good with that. But I'm telling you right now, you do have a hit song right there, period.
Thank you, thank you. And you know, moving forward, Gil, I really want to do all my videos storytelling. I want to do them like film.
Indeed. Yep.
You know, taking my time. And that's that's another thing. It took me 2 years to do this album.
Right.
And we live in a microwave society. We live in a society that's all about hustle.
Yeah.
And I had to learn, in order to make art, you have to surrender.
Indeed.
It's a different type of artistry when you are making an album.
Right.
Because television news, I'm shooting content every day.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. And music is a different works.
Indeed.
You know?
Yeah, patience.
So it's like,
patience. You gotta let it grow in you. You gotta let it maximize itself. You gotta let that energy maximize in order to come out the right way. And that's one of the things. Right. There's a term that I normally use when I am in the studio producing any artist. After they lay something that I kind of feel that it's not quite what it needs to be, I just tell them, you know what, perfect that. And sometimes you can stay on that, perfect that for a couple of days, as long as once you know, and not just you, I mean, everyone knows when it gets to that point and you like, okay, that is the it, because it will grab you. And to me, that song is like one of the, like I told you, I mean, I hit play, and when it got to the end of it, I had to go back and listen to it again. And then I went back, I listened to it again.
Wow,
and then the
right.
third time I allowed myself to go on and listen to the rest of the album. So let's go ahead and take a very quick break, because we kind of need to play a bit of that song so that people can kind of get an idea of exactly what we're talking about. So go ahead and introduce the song and a bit of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kings and Queens, Wild Wild Ride. This song represents the journey of life, the dualities of life. And no matter who you are, we're all going to have moments, but we have to continue to embark on our journey of life.
So right here, Wild Wild Ride on Diaspora Central Spotlight with Chardelle Moore. We'll be right back.
One moment you're young, one moment you're old, one moment you're happy, one moment you're sad. Life is a wild, wild adventure. Help us, God. Everything is bigger than the physical. Everything is bigger than the physical. So we tap into the supernatural, and we tap into the supernatural on this wild, wild ride. Keep the faith alive. I can testify on this wild, wild ride. Woo! Everyone is playing a character. Might as well be the director. Write your own script. Whoa! Blaze your own path. If you don't, they'll do it for you on this wild, wild ride. Keep the faith alive.
And we are back. If you have just tuned in, you are now listening or checking out the Diaspora Central Spotlight. And today my guest is Chardelle Moore. This is the new inspirational, new conscious, and when I say conscious, I mean social conscious force within the diaspora music industry. She's definitely not playing around. That was Wild Wild Ride.
Playing.
No, not playing. Wild Wild Ride is definitely a wild, wild ride. Chardelle Moore.
Thank you, King.
Yeah.
Your vibe.
Right.
I love it, man. It's always good vibes.
Thank you. But you know what? That's also part of my inward awakening. So thank you for the album.
Yes, inward awakening. And that's what I want. I want people to listen to this album and feel like they can do anything they put their mind to.
Indeed.
You know, and tap into a level of freedom in themselves that they've never even experienced. Yeah. That is the thing about an inward awakening, but nobody can do it for you. It's like this inner power that we have. We all have this. Yeah. We're looking for something to give it to us. What is it? What is it? What is it? Yeah. Dig within yourself. Right. Unleash your lights unapologetically. Walk in your lane. You come from God.
There you go.
Go for it.
Indeed.
You're going to take L's in this journey of life. It's part of the process. You're going to grow. It's all part of the process. The dualities are essential to the evolution of our higher sense of consciousness. Go for you.
Indeed.
You got this.
Indeed.
Awaken yourself. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. It is essential.
And that's one of the things that, you know what, a lot of people sometimes are afraid of, is to actually be awakened, right? Because it's scary, right? It's scary. It may mean losing some acquaintances. It may mean fixing some relationships. It may mean having to face some of the fears that one primarily tries to avoid. What is, I guess, your tip to people who come to that point, right? Because we can tell based on your album that, hey, a lot of therapy there.
A lot of therapy.
Right?
Yes,
So,
a lot of, self-therapy that I've had to go through in this inward awakening journey. And the thing is, when you accept yourself, Gil,
okay.
What do you lose?
Right.
When you develop compassion with yourself, when you realize the only thing is self versus self, you can't compare yourself to anything external.
Yeah.
We're all human. We're all brilliant and we're all flawed. Yep. We all, are trying to figure this thing, life.
Right.
So acceptance and surrendering to yourself is so important because it literally takes so much weight off you.
Yeah.
Because as long as you are becoming your truest self, your highest authentic self, how can you go wrong?
Indeed.
This is only your way to compare yourself to self. You can't do it comparing yourself to somebody else. That is mental slavery. And that has the Matrix has us convinced that we have to be something outside of self. In order to be validated, we need A, B, and C. How can money define you?
Right.
How can accolades even define you?
Right.
How can your car define you? These are just things. How can even the physical define you, King?
Quite true. Quite true. And that's one of the things that a lot of us sometimes get lost in the process. We actually become defined by everything around us except who we really are. And I think
that takes work, and it's a continuous process.
Indeed.
The inward awakening journey, kings and queens, never stops. Yep. I was talking to my grandfather who's 88 years old, and even still thinks about his self, that he's discovering, that he's learning from, that he's healing from.
Okay. What is your grandfather's name, if you don't mind me asking?
Bertrand.
Okay, because here at Diaspora Central we like names.
Yes.
Yeah, but go on. You were saying, so he's still discovering things about himself.
He's still discovering. We never stop discovering.
Yeah,
that's the importance when you embark on a journey of life and you realize, while I'm here, let me make the most out of this ride.
Okay. And definitely the thing to do, because I'll be very honest with you, it doesn't matter when or how. If you're losing an acquaintance to gain yourself, for yourself, you should always take yourself, period.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you're going to bet on anyone, bet on yourself. So you definitely bet on this inward awakening, and you got 7 records in this album that are definitely fire. Goodness gracious. I do not want to minimize the greatness or the benefits on neither of those records. I can definitely tell you my favorite ones, and I think I couldn't even help myself. I had to make a video right that same day. As soon as I heard, I'm like, hey, listen, because and that is just me. If I like it, I like it, and that's what it is. And everyone is gonna know that I like it, because sharing that energy is honestly what I believe that I am here for. So I went from that track out of my favorites. I gave you my favorite one was Wow Wow's Ride. The other one was Africa Inside of Us, right? Africa Inside of Us. So which one is your other favorite one?
To be honest, King, it's so interesting. My second favorite one is Africa Inside of Us. Yeah. that one did get right. Music is a vibe thing,
right.
So me and you vibrate on similar frequencies, right. So even our favorite songs on the album will be similar because we have similar vibrations.
Yeah, definitely.
But Africa Inside of Us, I wrote this piece because the power, the magnitude that lies in us as Africans.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't own that,
Indeed. Indeed.
And literally when I wrote this song, I was in a supernatural trance. Literally, it was like the spirit was communicating. And this is the thing, I'm letting you guys know first on Diaspora Central, the Queen will be going to Africa. I am going to have a tour in Africa.
There you go.
Because I have to go back to empower my people.
And there you go. So to all African promoters, now you heard it first right here on Diaspora Central. Chardelle Moore is open and ready to start an African tour. So go ahead and give her the contact. Ring her phone. Do not play, folks. This is real stuff right here. Angola.
Give me that mic and it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Because even with Africa inside of us, you know, the lyrics, every connection, African vibration, ancestors watch us, brilliant DNA. You know, when you hear that, you know what you carry, wisdom, faith, beauty, grace, Africa inside us, hey? So I wanted people to feel that passion.
Indeed, because that's one of the things that I would say that for us, even as people, at times we forget and we don't value enough. You know, it's the wisdom, the ability to capitalize on previous wisdom, on the wisdom of the elders or the ones that came before us, right? And the ability to also be able to pass on wisdom to generations to come, appreciation to generations to come, to the point that, I mean, we getting out to a point where we actually got to be afraid of appropriation. Come on, we Africa and we are afraid of appropriation. The reason why we're afraid of appropriation is because we, in a way, are starting to tend to fail to first document, then communicate the true energy of what being an African is, because Africa today is just too diverse for us to even fear appropriation. But that's me going on a whole different tangent. We got to stay on inward awakening today. We're staying on inward awakening. So let's talk a little bit about the producers, the production of Africa inside of us.
Yes. So let me tell you about this, how we produced this one. Literally, my friend Jay Sykes, again, shout out to Jay Sykes. He is such a multi-talented creative. He does it all. He does acting, he does producing, he does rapping, directing, just amazing. Literally, we were at my house working on my album, and then he was just playing on his laptop. And I was like, I want something rock. Like, because I love to dance, you know? And I said, I wanted something powerful, like, do. So he just started going into a trance, and here I am jumping, like, and you know, the creativity literally took over. And I was just like, you know, just feeling it, like every connection, African vibration. And he was like in his trance too. And that's how Africa inside of us came. It wasn't even like plans. That's the thing. But you know, that's what happens. Like, it's weird, Gil. It's like, if I wanted to sit down sometimes and just say, I'm going to sit down today and write, sometimes the ideas don't come to me from the divine. But when I am so free in my subconscious, it's like things just start to flow. That's why artists cannot be too stressed.
Indeed. And that's the key thing also, because you know what? Energy will find the portal that it needs to give that good energy to others who actually need to receive it. And trust you and me, inward awakening, good energy given to us through you. So let's go ahead and take another quick break and take a listen to Africa Inside of Us. We'll be right back.
Every connection, Africa vibration, ancestors watch us, brilliant DNA, know what you carry, wisdom, faith, beauty, grace, Africa inside us, hey. Africa inside us, hey. Africa inside us, hey. Don't let the system fool you. Culture's a virtue. We all come from the motherland. Separate illusion. Never dismiss what's inside. We divine, so divine. Heavenly made, so divine. Riga flex, excellent. Yeah, queen represent. On economy, keep sanity. My currency is energy. Let nothing take it away. Africa inside us, hey. Africa inside us, hey. Africa inside us, hey. spirits education, empower minds and nations. This is soul food, real stuff, brain stimulation. Tubman, Mandela, Garvey, King, the list goes on. World leaders drunk, scholars have made me. Gary and Beverly, Dominica birthed me. King brother, Nike, Regal Chetney. Hey, Dr. Nato, hey, Grandma Asu. Hey, this is a legacy. Africa inside us, hey. Africa inside us, hey. Let's go, kings and queens. And you got us.
And we are back. If you have just joined us, you are now tuned to Diaspora Central, and my guest today is Chardelle Moore, the author of Inward Awakening. Yes, the fire that is currently lighting up the diaspora. Chardelle, welcome to Diaspora Central. Yeah, Inward Awakening.
Inward awakening. The awakening begins with you. The awakening begins when you begin to look inward into yourself to discover who you are. It's a journey filled with blessings and challenges, but both dualities are essential when it comes to awakening the beauty inside of you. Life is a journey.
Indeed, definitely. You know what? It's almost like when I got to the end of your album, I kind of felt like, you know what? I kind of felt like I saw you going through the schooling process and eventually graduating. It was like, right, I finished listening to the album and I was like, wow, this almost feels like a graduation, right? It's like you hear, it's like you hear that tone like of graduation. It's almost like you excited for something, but yet you miss something and you don't know what is it that you missing, that you're nostalgic about, right? It kind of felt that way, and I was like, you know what? It's interesting because I guess from your perspective, how did it feel once you got it done? The first time you put the 7 records in the sequence in which they are, and you listen to them that way, what was that feeling like at the end?
No words, simply beautiful. Because it took so much mental courage to create this works. Right. You know, to be able to create something from your soul is freedom.
Indeed.
And I've been a creative my entire life, but I've always created for somebody else, pushing their ideologies. Right? Inward Awakening is my first real project that I wrote and executive produced, and comes from my mind, given to me by the divine spirit, God.
So this one from you for you.
Yeah. And it's like, after I was done with this, I was like, Sha, you can accomplish anything. Yes, queen. You better put your art into the universe. Let's go. Let's go. And that is the thing, because we create mental blocks with ourselves. And I said, you know what, queen? You are creating a new lane. Because to be honest, I don't even know what genre I do.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, one thing is for sure, okay, and you definitely supplementing your brand, and to me, that's the genius behind all of this, which basically puts you really in a box in which, you know what, those who doubt it, whenever you were giving inspirational talks, now they have the period that sets you right to the point in which, you know what, guess what, I'm not just talking. This is me all day. It's me when I'm on stage giving a talk. It's me when I'm on stage singing, rapping. It's me when I am me. And it's trust you me. It's one of those. And I'll be honest with you, that's part of the reason. Like I was kind of like, wow. I really sat for about 15 to 30 seconds, just kind of like thinking after I listened to the entire album, and I was like, you know what? I think she just gave us, the diaspora, the one thing that we needed, which is inspiration, social consciousness, self-consciousness. I mean, goodness gracious, you listen to that album and it's almost like you talking to the person directly.
Oof, thank you. I received this message, King.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's almost like you talking to the person directly. So let's go into the other songs in the album now, not in any specific order, but tell us probably the other songs that you kind of felt very connected to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another song that I felt, each of my songs, I have a deep connection.
Mm-hmm.
Another song that I felt very connected to was Inna Gangsta. And the reason why I was very connected to Inna Gangsta is because everybody has an Inna Gangsta. Meaning everybody's going to face those L's.
Yeah.
But when you're facing these challenges, we have a choice. We can either cripple or we can say, I'm about to boss up.
Yep.
I am going to release the courage in me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to fight for my dreams. I'm going to fight for my life.
Yep.
And sometimes you need that. You need to pull out that gangster in you.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That beast mode.
Let's do this. Mm-hmm. Let's do this, God. I'm ready, right? I face the L. I face this. I face this. Right. Okay, but guess where I come from? I come from God.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm coming.
That's that resilience. That's that courage. That's that fire.
Mm-hmm.
We all have it.
Indeed.
So in a gangster, my friend Jay Sykes, he was on it.
Yeah.
Jay is like all over this album.
Right.
But literally, it's just one of those pieces because it's true. Everybody got an inner gangster, tough and rooted like a soldier, overcame the pain and the trauma. Don't get it twisted. I as a warrior. And it's true.
Indeed.
All of us.
Yeah.
All of us. You know, Gil, you are so professional.
Oh, thank you.
And poised and talented. But Gil, you got a gangster in you too.
Oh, definitely.
You
oh,
have
definitely.
a courage in you that's like, no. Don't play with me.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. Those very close to me, they know. Yeah, those very, very close to me, they know, and they know when he comes. It's trust you and me, we all do that other side of the coin, because I mean, eventually, it's part of what makes us successful. You gotta know, you gotta know, stay balanced, and know exactly when is it that that push is going beyond what it should go. And from that point, shouldn't even go any further. So you gotta set that. You gotta make the line on the sand and stand by it, right?
With the inner gangster, you gotta make the line.
Yeah.
Because to even live in that energy of
right.
That that energy is good. Woo! But you can't always live in that.
Right.
And that's the thing about Inward Awakening. There's so many different types of energies, right?
Yeah.
So with Wild Wild Ride, it's more just balance, anchored. I think that's why that's my favorite song.
Yeah.
And it gangsters that rawness, but that's needed too. You know, self-love is a beautiful journey. It's very like self-love,
Right.
No, Glow is like,
yeah.
I'm not a star.
Right.
I'm a whole galaxy.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? The plug is more inspirational, deep. Africa inside of us is like that feeling, that realness, and all of these vibrations are important to the human experience.
Indeed, definitely. I would tell you right now, it's definitely one of the greatest gifts that I think the diaspora has gotten this year. It's something that definitely needs the support of everyone. And the only thing that I can tell our listeners is the following: listen, don't do it because I am telling you. No, I'm just saying, give it a listen and then go ahead and rate it accordingly, because one thing is for sure, that album has at least one, if not all the songs will speak directly to you once you listen to that album. And it's definitely an inspirational piece. I would even say a therapeutical piece that I think all of us need to have on our playlists, because we have those days when you kind of need to listen to something that will definitely pump you up, or that will definitely guide you in the right direction so that you don't make a mistake that probably you can definitely avoid. So Chardelle Moore, shout out.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Indeed.
It is one of those things that the power of creating conscious creativity and works that will live on beyond me.
Right.
when you listen to Fearless, that's also one of my favorites. It's a spoken word piece. It's so real and it's so raw because we all struggle with fear.
Right.
And finding the courage to overcome the self-doubt and the negative thoughts is so important.
Indeed.
You know, when you listen to Self-Love is a Beautiful Journey, the feeling of being loved and learning to develop love with yourself is vital.
Yeah.
You know, I can go on and on.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. If you feel like going on, let's go on, because you can go on.
You know, one thing I talked about this a little bit, but I just want to just tap on this notion.
Sure.
That when I wrote this album, as I mentioned, it took 2 years to create it.
Okay.
It was the experience, there's no words to describe the experience, what I was going through. And also to overcoming the mind. Like, oh, can you really do this? I don't know, overcoming the self-doubt. So just the fact that I was able to produce my own art and overcome those thoughts that try to take us, that alone speaks volumes to me. And this is just the beginning. Gil, I'm going to make a whole thing with Inward Awakening. We're going to have an Inward Awakening tour, merch, you name it.
Yeah, no, you definitely, trust you and me, you have solidified your brand.
Thank you.
Trust you and me. That's definitely graduation right there. That's college graduation or high school graduation. That is definitely a graduating point. Like I told you, it almost felt like I saw you walk across the stage, and at that point in time, it's almost like, you know, it's like you're really proud of the person, because you know what, you have accomplished something. And not only that, you have given a gift of inspiration, a gift of consistency that many no longer see, a gift of representation that is like so important right now for our community, especially here in the diaspora, because a lot of our young men, young women, they kind of getting lost to the street simply because they don't have representation. And we need that kind of representation, good representation, something that comes in that is fun, but yet on the same note allows us to grow as individuals, allows us to grow as a community, allows us to grow as children of God. You know, and for that, definitely thank you. Yeah, thank you. Are there any shout outs that you want to give before we go on?
I want to shout out Jay Sykes again.
Yes.
The lead producer on this works. Divine Star. Yeah. Another producer. I literally worked with two producers for this album. I'm so thankful for you guys as well. And I just want to thank my kings and queens, my tribe that's growing all over the world, who are supporting me. The people who've been there for me since Miss Caribbean Metro USA to Cali TV, Accent TV, Fox 45, and to see the evolution that's being taken place. And the same way that I am evolving, I'm no different from you. You and I both come from God. Whatever your dreams are, you know, I'm always about it. Go for it. Literally, the only person who can stop you is yourself. As long as you keep taking one step forward to that right direction, how can you lose?
Definitely.
The journey is to become your highest you. That's all that matters. Be a good person. Live your life to the fullest. And go for those dreams and put God first.
Definitely. And I couldn't say anything better to close this program. Chardelle Moore, once again, thank you very much for joining us today. And hopefully we'll get you back. And you know what? We got to get you.
You know, I'm always going to be back on Diaspora Essential.
Thank you. We love to have you. Like I've told you before, you know what? Listen, if you can give us 4 interviews a year, we definitely appreciate it. So
I will.
Bring up.
Once again, the work that you're doing, Gil, your professionalism,
what
you stand for on highlighting the people of the continent and the diaspora, your creativity and your mind. You have a brilliant mind.
Thank you.
And it's truly an honor to be interviewed by such a professional like you. So thank you once again for inviting me on your platform.
Thank you very much. It's been our purpose. It's been our pleasure. And I honestly humbled, as I always say, because individuals like you are individuals that honestly make me even want to do something like that, because in all
Absolutely.
honesty, I'm just doing my little bit so that someone else can also do their little bit, and hopefully all these little bits can maximize
Multiply the energy.
exactly what we have. And you know what, we hope that pretty soon we can also have your producers on this show, Jay Sykes and
Divine Star.
Star, yes. Bring them through. Let's kind of do their spotlights eventually. And
absolutely,
you know what? And remember, this is home for you. So at any point in time, you are more than welcome. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Gil. I appreciate you.
Indeed. And for all of you listening, I can't emphasize enough. Inward awakening is probably the one most needed thing, especially now in August. And let me kind of put this in corporate terms. Around August, every corporation goes through their budget, annual budgeting for the following year. How many of you do your own personal, not just financial budgeting, but actual life budgeting? How many of you go back and review your life and lives and determine what is it that you need to add, take away? What is it that is working? What is it that is not working that you need to let go and actually hold on to the things that are working? I think that this album is one tool that can probably help you, if not empower you, to be able to do so. So check it out. Inward Awakening by Chardelle Moore.
Thank you so much, Gil.
And then until next time, peace.
Bye.
Everybody got an inner gangster, tough and rooted like a soldier. Overcame the pain and the trauma. Don't get it twisted, I as a warrior. Everybody got an inner gangster. 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 Born leader, call me Queen Sheba. Messiah, God is the fire. Born leader, call me Queen Sheba. Messiah, God is the fire. Give me the mic, I rock it right. Jumps for days, straight out of sight. On the light, raise the vibes. Shift your mindset, change your life. Nothing that you cannot do. Fire's in you, passion's in you. God's got you. So I call my girls for DA. Let's start a revolution. When today, self-belief. Click, clack, kickity clack. Currency, click, clack, kickity clack. Unity, click, clack, clickety clack. Always bringing you the knowledge, I'll take you to college. Everybody got an inner gangster, tough and rooted like a soldier. Overcame the pain and the trauma. Don't get it twisted, I as a warrior. Everybody got an inner gangster. Everybody got an inner gangster. Everybody got an inner gangster. Everybody got an inner gangster.
Never look me in my eyes if you a snake. Praying on my failure was your first mistake. You tried to play the game playing you. Cause I'm friends with the person that you praying to. Lost a couple friends, I still want them like they dead. Had to cut them off, they was crazy in the head. And we went from talking every day to leaving them on red. Then I had to guard my energy and I leveled up instead. Look, I just wanna see my whole team on the mountain. Success was flowing through and we drank from the fountain. 2020 vision turned to hindsight in a year. And while we were quarantined, I cultivated my career. Take flight, I'm a soar, I want more. Limit your fake types, not no more. Jay Sykes, Chardelle Moore. I believe I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I feel sympathy for enemies cause I found inner peace. I'm gone.
Courage. It's amazing what you can do through the power of self-belief. Believe in yourself. No matter what.